Hi guys and welcome back. In this video we're going to be learning about patching and mocking. Let's start by creating a new file that we're going to call page.py, and here we're going to import the requests module. So if you don't have it installed, just go over to your settings, open your project interpreter settings and install the requests module. This module here just allows us to get a web page and look at its contents basically. So it allows us to make web requests. Now that that's installed, we can go to OK, and this should disappear there, the red line. And then we're going to create a class that I'm going to call page requester, and it's going to be a very useless class, but nonetheless it's going to allow us to learn about testing. So we're going to get the page requester class, and it has an init method. This one receives a string, a URL. We can say that this is a string there. And then it has a get method that all it does is it calls the requests module. And it gives you back the content of the response. Now, you may think that this is a useless example, but very often what you'll see is that your classes get very long. And as your classes get longer and longer, understanding them becomes naturally more difficult. There is more code to read, you have to be jumping from one place to another, and so on. So it's often a good idea to split out the code in your classes, take it out, put it inside another file, create a function for it, or potentially another class if it's necessary, and test that separately from this class. This class now, where we've taken all of the code that actually goes and gets the URL and so forth, we've taken all that into a new file, the requests module. Now this class is very simple. All we have to do is make sure that the URL is stored in the class and that the get method calls the requests module. So we can go ahead and write our tests for it. Let's create a new file that I'm going to call test page.py. And once again, we will begin by doing from unit test, import test case. We will do from unit test.mock, import patch, and from page, import page requester. Then we'll create our test page requester, which is a test case. And we're going to set up the method here to do self.page is page requester, and we will pass in google.com. Just a simple page there. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that when we call self.page.get, it calls the requests module. We do not want to have a test that actually gets google.com. Here's why. So we'll say test make request, and we're going to do with patch of requests.get as mocked get.